Christmas is just around the corner. This is the time of year that I love to hand out goodies to friends. I love to have something freshly baked and delicious to take to all of our Christmas social events. And this is how I always have something freshly baked and ready to go throughout this busy time of year. I will mix a variety of different flavors of cookie dough throughout the season, roll them out, put them on baking sheets, and freeze them so that they are ready to go into the oven whenever we need fresh cookies throughout the Christmas season. So I want to show you some of my favorite cookie recipes. I get so excited about baking Christmas cookies every single year. I'm always looking for new recipes that I would like to try, and I'm always falling back on our tried and true favorite family traditional cookie recipes as well. This year, though, I want to try a new recipe. This recipe has 2 different doughs of vanilla and a chocolate dough with 4 different flavors that you can try and change up. And that idea, it was so appealing to me. I love handing out a vintage, beautiful tin full of different assortments of homemade goodies to my neighbors. So I'm starting out with this recipe. I'm making the vanilla dough right now. I'm using a vanilla bean paste that I picked up from Trader Joe's. And for the vanilla flavors that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be making an orange dark chocolate butter cookie. And for the other vanilla recipe, it's a chai spice cookie. This recipe really is a butter cookie or a shortbread cookie dough, you could say. And the idea is that you roll this cookie into a log, and then you wrap that log up in some saran wrap, and you can put it in the fridge or the freezer, and then you slice them and you bake them. Super simple. Like I mentioned before, this is a busy time of year, and so I've been trying to figure out how I can get everything done that I need to do. I went over to Skillshare and searched up time management and was really happy with what I found. I want to thank Skillshare for being the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes. There's literally something for everyone, whether you're into filming, photography, art, crafting, sewing, baking. I've been in a little bit of a creative slump lately, and so I went on there and searched up time management, and I found a learning path that was perfect for the entrepreneur and creative, and it was just what I needed to pull me out of my creative slump and give me some inspiration to make a change. Skillshare gives you experts in your field of interest who can give you feedback and instructions and worksheets and things to help you grow. I really value the opportunity to continue to educate myself and grow. The first 500 people to use my link will receive a 1-month free trial. Just follow the link down in my description box and enjoy a 1-month free trial on Skillshare. I know that some people are obsessed with the chai flavors, especially this time of year. And I have never really made anything chai in my kitchen. But after trying this cookie, it has to be one of my favorite flavor combinations. It was so spicy, rich, and delicious. I loved the chai flavors. If you're a chai fan, go and put that down in the comments below. What else do you make with chai spice? It is so yummy. These slice and bake cookies are by Jenna from the Butternut Bakery blog. And I absolutely loved all the flavor combinations that she came up with, all of her thorough instructions for making these cookies, and it's definitely worth making. So I will make sure to put that down in the description box below, along with all of the other cookie recipes that I'm making today. The idea is that you're supposed to be able to get a dozen cookies out of each log. I definitely got more like 13 or 14, and I felt like the cookies were plenty thick. So I think I could roll them out even a little bit smaller and go for maybe more like 15 or 16 small little butter cookies. And as I mentioned before, I really am like a mother squirrel come fall season, and I'm storing up all of my baking ingredients and things that I will need for baking and cooking all winter long. One thing that I've been storing up on is chocolate, lots of chocolate chips. I've got these dark chocolate Hershey chocolate chips that I'm going to be using today, but I'm definitely prepared for the baking season. All the butter I need, all the flours, chocolates. I usually get a lot of those goods from Azure Standard, and I can put that down below as well. But I've also been making a lot of online delivery grocery orders through Walmart and having them just ship groceries right to my door. I can't believe what a perk that has been and what a blessing it's been just as a busy mom, homeschooling and taking care of 4 kids. Having fresh groceries delivered to my door has been such a blessing as well. So I really spend zero time pretty much going to the grocery store. I just do most of my ordering online these days. Now I'm just putting together the chocolate version. The flavors that I'm going with for our chocolate dough are a hazelnut chocolate cookie, and hazelnut is my absolute favorite nut, and chocolate and hazelnut is even better. And then the second flavor we're going to be doing is a dark chocolate chunk peppermint cookie. So we're going to use a half a teaspoon of peppermint extract to bring that peppermint flavor home. Also adding chunks of dark chocolate. And then we're going to be rolling this cookie log in crushed peppermint candy canes. So all of these different rolls of dough could be really cute presents if you put little bows on them and you had them frozen. Then people can take them home and slice them and bake them up themselves, because I think fresh cookies always make the best gifts anyway. So how cute would that be? I think I might bake up some more or mix up some more of this and put these in the freezer. These would be cute ideas for gifts. And you could just put baking instructions on there for baking a dozen cookies. What temperature? 350 degrees for 8 minutes. You could put that on the little tag. This is such a cute Christmas gift. So I want to save you the trouble of not making the same mistake I did. I should have read the instructions a little bit more thoroughly for the peppermint cookie. Do not roll your chocolate peppermint log, into your candy canes prior to baking. That resulted in the peppermint candies melting all over, which I should know that. I've made cookies plenty of times, but I guess I just was so excited about rolling the dough and all the beautiful things. So make sure to save your peppermint candy, crushed candies for after the baking. But for the hazelnut cookies, I rolled those in coarse raw cane sugar. I'm painting down the cookie logs with a little bit of water. That helps all of those pretty toppings adhere a little bit better. You could roll them in sprinkles. You could roll them in nuts. But I loved the coarse sugar and the little dusting that it put on the cookies. It also added a really nice crunchy texture just around the edges, and then the center was a little bit soft. And for the chai spice cookies, I'm rolling that just in some cinnamon and sugar. Okay, so I misread the instructions. Make sure to put your peppermint on after. This is what happens to your peppermint cookie if you put the peppermint around the cookie before you bake it. So all of the coating goes on except for the peppermint. That goes after the bake. since the chocolate peppermint cookies didn't quite turn out as planned, we'll scratch that all up for experience. I put them on a plate, and the kids and I enjoyed those while we baked up all the rest of the cookies, and no one was complaining. They were absolutely delicious. But what you should do, if you followed the instructions properly, is melt some white chocolate or dark chocolate and dunk your chocolate peppermint cookie into white chocolate, or partially or just along the edges, and then sprinkle with your peppermint candy. The next cookie dough that I'm going to get started here is our chocolate raspberry thumbprints. Now, this is my favorite Christmas cookie of all time. My mother would make these growing up, and she would make a vanilla dough batch and a chocolate batch, but my all-time favorite was always the chocolate thumbprint cookies. So I'll put that recipe down below for you guys, and if you want to do the same thing, you could make a batch of vanilla and a batch of chocolate. Just omit the chocolate portion for the vanilla dough. I just melt 7 ounces of bittersweet or semi-sweet chocolate here on the stove, and I mix that right into the dough. The recipe says to chill the dough before you add the chocolate, but I've often found it hard to mix in the chocolate thoroughly when the dough is so hard. So I just mix it right in, and then I go to chilling the dough. And I forgot to mention how I just put in the zest of 1 orange into the orange chocolate cookies. I have to say, though, that smell of the orange chocolate butter cookie was absolutely delightful, and it was one of my favorite flavors. I like to roll my raspberry thumbprints in nuts. You could chop up pecans or walnuts or hazelnuts or almonds, whatever you like. I'm working with pecans today. I just roll the dough into the nuts and then press my thumb in the center for that little thumbprint shape, and that's where all that delicious raspberry jam goes. I decided I need to make my nuts a little bit finer. They were a little coarse. And then I'm just going to put all of these sheets of cookie dough into the freezer to do a flash freeze so that they'll all be frozen in the shape, the perfect shape that they need for baking up. The last cookie dough recipe that I'm whipping up is a Mexican wedding cookie. You could call them the snowball cookies, but they're really another butter cookie that you roll in white powdered sugar, and they are a classic, a family classic, a favorite, and I love the different shape and that white snowball color they add to the tin of cookies. So that was just 4 simple cookie dough recipes that we put together, and we were able to mix up 6 different flavors. And if you wanted to go even further, you could have made a double batch of your thumbprint cookies and made a vanilla and a chocolate, and then you would have 7 flavors. But I love the variety that we have going on here. I did pour the rest of the hazelnuts and pecans right into these cookies, or you could leave them without nuts. And a lot of that depends, too, on who you're gifting your cookies away to. It's always good to be thoughtful of who you are gifting to and whether they have nut allergies. But like I've said in the past, I love everything with nuts. And so most of the things I make do have nuts. You just need to let your friends know that that's what you're gifting out. All of these frozen cookies are going to go right into gallon freezer Ziploc bags, and they'll be ready to pull out. I put them straight on the baking sheet. You're going to want to add 2 or a few minutes longer to your baking time because they're frozen. but this method works out great for just having cookies ready to go at all times. I will be saving these raspberry chocolate thumbprints, especially for Christmas Day. This is just one of my kids' favorites, and so we're going to try to make these last a little bit longer. Tonight, I'm going to bake a few of them to show you how I put all these cookies together in a tin. I just pull out the ones that I need from my batch of frozen cookies and bake up the variety that I want. It's good to make another indent into your thumbprint cookies. I like to use a little round piece of wooden spoon just to create that perfect round shape, but they do slightly puff up when they're baking, so add just a little bit more indent to there so that you can have more room for your raspberry jam. In the past, I've added different flavors. When I make up the vanilla batch, I like to add apricot or peach jam, so you have a little bit different variety going on. I like to thrift different vintage tins throughout the year. I am a sucker for beautiful old things. I think you all know that. And so it's always fun to see what beautiful tins I will find. And I think it's kind of a dual purpose gift. So I just put a little bit of brown parchment paper into the tin. You can come up with all sorts of fun and creative ways to put your cookies together, but these slice and bake cookies just stacked so beautifully. And so I wrapped those with some ribbon, and I'm using just some cupcake liners to put the rest of my cookies in. Really simple, just things that I already had in the kitchen. I'm throwing in a candy cane, but you could throw in any candies or chocolates or maybe caramels that you have made. And I'm just going to put a little orange slice and ribbon here on the tin. You can also find more tins over at the dollar store if you're here in America. They have plenty of little Christmas tins that would be easy to get your hands on. But isn't that just adorable? It's custom, it's homemade, it's thoughtful. It's just a simple and beautiful gift from the Homemaker's Kitchen. And I wish I could give each of you guys a little box of cookies. I feel like I'm speaking to a friend. And I want you to know that I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you make it warm and bright, make memories and traditions with your families, and have an enjoyable time just gifting and thinking of others. We're going to do a cookie taste testing and see which one is our favorite, okay?
Okay, so if I get it wrong, you guys have to leave a like, and if I get it right, you guys have to subscribe and like.
Okay, we've got peppermint, chocolate orange, chai spice, hazelnut chocolate, raspberry thumbprints, and Mexican wedding cookies.
Okay, I think I lost
close your
track
eyes,
of each
close
one.
your eyes, close your eyes.
Mama.
And Evelyn's just eating all the cookies. Is that one for you?
The spice one.
Okay, Jane. Okay,
The spice one.
Okay, Jane, you ready for the next one?
That one. Oh. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And that one.
Okay, kids, out of all of the flavors, which one was your favorite?
My favorite was probably the Mexican wedding cookie.
Mexican wedding cookies.
Since I didn't try this one with the
The
powdered
chocolate
sugar,
peppermint.
with the powdered sugar on top.
And Sydney, which one was your favorite?
The one I'm eating.
Mexican wedding cookies. That's 2 for Mexican wedding cookie. And make it 3 for Mexican wedding cookies.